and I said from the first day that he should resign and leave this army. But today, there's one thing that I have now one fear, that he has just 2 months to go, and after that you will see all these issues which today we want to complete by way of equipment and other things will remain unsolved for I don't know how much time.
Is that also your fear, Brigadier Mahalingam?
That is one thing.
That the chief has very little time.
Vinod
Sharma, one second. Vinod Sharma,
all of you are praising each other.
No, 1 second. Nobody's praising anyone. The question tonight is Tatra. Tatra came up because of an interview. We never knew Tatra. Nobody talked about Tatra, did they? Vinod Mehta?
Arnab, cleaning the army and defense procurement is a work in progress.
That's true.
General VK Singh, the army chief, has contributed a great deal to that. And I think like what Anna Hazare did about corruption in public life, General VK Singh has been able to put on the table the issue of the way arms are procured and the role of middlemen, etc. So I say that even if General Singh goes on his May the date, and even in his short tenure, the issue now of the way we procure arms and the role of middlemen has been given sufficient highlight that I, as an optimist, would like to believe that things will never be the same again.
Hopefully.
Although I don't believe middlemen will disappear.
Hopefully.
But I think their role has been brought into national focus.
Hopefully, perhaps, because to pretend it doesn't exist is completely wrong. Maruf, should the chief at this stage say, okay, I have achieved my purpose now?
First is, for 3 quick points. I think what General VK Singh has tried to initiate, and the matter is not yet closed, it's too early to call it curtains. The first is that the whole defense procurement process is a complicated one, but more importantly, there is another question linked to it. And that is that India has one of the largest defense import budgets in the world, but it has struggling public sector units because they import all sorts of equipment, give it to the army at inflated costs, make huge profits and stay afloat. And we don't allow private industry to enter the holy grounds of defense military industrial complex, and therefore we have the problem that there is. The second problem, which again by inference we draw from General VK's standoff with the government, and I'll tell you one thing, the matter is not settled, it needs a complete revamp and a relook, is the whole issue of civil-military relations and the need for greater professionalization amongst the babus who run the Ministry of Defense. And the third aspect is that a large number of senior officers, and the issue is again not settled, are some way or the other have lost a sense of values and direction that the old army we talked about and with General Dhar and others, at one stage represented. Today that army is moved on. So there is a need to freshly reappraise the value systems in the army and make a clearer assessment of where we stand in the state of context of India's societal norms. So stand on a high ground and say army officers shouldn't speak to the press, army officers shouldn't go to the court, army officers shouldn't blow the whistle.
No, I think the truth should come out. I'm going to come back to Tatra.
We need to revisit these spaces.
My focus tonight, I said on Top of News Hour tonight, was one word, one proper noun in 5 alphabets called T-A-T-R-A, Tatra. And these 2 papers I have with me today, in the first is the whistleblower's letter. This gives full details of the problems with Tatra and the problem that is being said. The government of India was informed the original manufacturer is not a full original equipment manufacturer, and therefore this company has been dealing with the entire dealing with Tatra was being put under question. We need to talk. I think the government of India needs to talk with the Slovakian government, with the Czechoslovakian government, with all the foreign governments involved to find out what is the difference. Mathematically, somebody told me you find the difference between what Tatra UK is invoiced and what the government of India through BEML pays, and you know the commission being made here.
One question.
Yes.
Arnab, 2 or 3 quick comments if I could come in, please.
One question, Arnab, one question I want to ask. Why isn't the PSU buying directly from that Czechoslovak government?
Precisely.
Why is this middleman there?
Precisely. But that's the whole question. What is the difference between the money that the company in Czechoslovakia or Slovakia is invoicing the company in London, and the difference between that, subtract that from the amount that BEML is paying to Tatra Sipox UK, you might have a story there. It's the job of the government, the investigating agency, to find out that story. You need to find out that story.
Arnab, I need to ask you a question, and you
Sir,
must answer
one very important point.
No, I'm putting the papers out.
Also needs
One-
to be asked. Arnab,
very
the question that
important
needs to
point
be
in
asked to
that.
the rest of the panel.
Arnab,
The rest
General
of the
Singh-
panel is that Tatra apart, have we
Arnab,
solved the
General Singh's
mystery
point is
that
that
is
it was
the
a
army
bad truck,
fit enough
it was
to
a
fight
bad
the next
buy.
war? As per the letter that is disclosed, we are ill-equipped, underarmed, and in the event of an eventuality, we'll have a humiliating situation on our
Well,
hands.
the question
Nobody
today
is
is
addressing that question.
the question today is simple. 1 second. The question, I spoke to a number of experts. They didn't say. They said the question is not whether Tatra is a good truck. The question is who you bought it from. Question is not about whether it is a good or bad truck. It may be the world's best truck. It may be even fit enough to fly to the moon. Who did you buy it from? Isn't that
And
the question?
sir-
General Dhar. General
And, sir,
Dhar.
do you
General
know?
Singh says it's a bad
General
truck.
Dhar.
Do you know that the Q, yes sir, that the QR of the Tatra, that is from 6x6, it has been changed to 6x4, and no one knows who has done it. That's the beauty. It's one of the finest vehicles of the world, but we're not getting what we wanted.
Well, there are
That is
also.
where the chief,
I also want to say
Sir.
today, I want to say one more thing, that there are also many revelations about the registration of this company. We've gone into detail, some more papers about the registration of Tatra Sipox, where it is registered in UK. You know, there's a story
but-
there. I'm not going to give out the whole story tonight, but there's a story that
What
these
is-
papers should be with the CBI. They should look at it. They will find a very interesting story as far as the details of Tatra and the whole background are concerned. The company details are with Times Now, but I won't put this out. I won't draw conclusions. We'll give the CBI time to decide how it wants to read it. Brigadier
Arnab, I
Mahalingam, the
have
story
a
is
couple of
Tatra,
quick
isn't it?
comments.
The story is not whether General VK Singh is a good man. The story is Tatra. The story is defense procurements. Brigadier Mahalingam, that's the story.
Absolutely. As
We
far
have
as Tatra
already
is concerned,
achieved
it
that
has even
General
come to the
V.K.
notice of
Singh
people that
is a good
a
man,
simple
a
item
good
like
soldier.
tire, it takes 2 years for procurement. And also, somebody must go into the off-road state of these vehicles. If I remember correctly, I as one of the staff officers involved in the movement of formations way back in the 80s, had these Kolos Tatras tank transporters. Out of the whole fleet, I am sorry to say that there were only 3, no spares, nothing was available. And similar situation I am sure must exist. Somebody must go into it, pinpoint what was the problem and why is it so. And if it is because of contractual obligations not being correct,
Yeah.
somebody must be held accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. Last word to Admiral Bhagwat tonight. This debate is putting some questions and some issues in real perspective. Yes, sir.
Right. Middlemen are not required
Yeah.
in today's world of communications. Faxes, telexes, phones, computer messages, emails, everything, all unclassified because it's imported from abroad. Middlemen are not required, but middlemen are required because it is very easy to siphon off money to interested parties,
that off.
whether in the government or outside. Secondly, it is the Chief Vigilance Commissioner, very funny. When the government said there should be no middlemen, the CBC, and that was Fernandez at that time was the minister, said no, we can have middlemen. Middlemen can be there, and the middlemen should get registered. Middlemen never got registered. There is no middleman.
They
who
work in a
registered,
shadowy manner.
and yet they are all operational from London or from Paris or wherever else it
Yeah.
is. The third point is, and this is a fundamental point which will interest Mr. Vinod Mehta in particular, middlemen give a piggyback ride to intelligence agencies because that's the easiest way for them to be in touch with key officers, whether civilian or military.
Well,
And that is my main objection to this whole issue of middlemen, starting with the Nandas, to the Jajodias, to the Chowdhuris, to the Guptas. These are all people who are Trojan horses intruding into our system.
well, I respect bring back the respect of the uniform, we say. Bring back the pride that we all have in olive green. We respect the olive green. We love the Indian Army. Clean up the whole system of agents. throw the commission agents out. Reopen the deals of the last 10 years and let the people of this country know that never again will we hear that if in New Delhi you throw a stone, you find a middleman. That's the last thing that anyone wants to hear. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on that debate tonight. Thank